So let me get to the other big break of the day, because honestly, Brian, if you are following this case, especially online, so many people have said this was such a brutal stabbing murder, so gangland style, that perhaps there was some kind of drug activity or drug connection, and you got a definitive answer on that today.
Yeah, I asked the prosecutor about that, and he said to his knowledge, drugs are not involved. I tried to ask him, you and I were on the phone last night going over all these theories for hours, and I tried to get to almost all of them. He said, I asked him about whether or not inside the house the killer left any messages, anything on the walls. He said no, not to his knowledge, but the drugs was a big one. He addressed that. Listen to what he told me. Could drugs be involved in all of this?
I have not heard that there's any suspicion that drugs played a role in the killings.
So not like a drug deal gone bad or something like that?
I am not aware of anything like that, no.
And that's obviously important, Ashleigh, because if you look online, oh, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. Yep.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's a big one, because there's all sorts of theories online that there may have been drugs involved, but he said right there, no, that's not the case.
Which it leaves us even more confounded, because, again, with that violent style of murder, angry, almost retributive, it's now leaving us to all the other possibilities of why someone might not have done that if it weren't to avenge, a drug deal or a drug turf or something like that. So the other question I had, when we saw those cars being towed, and I don't know if we can roll some of that video, I was curious about it being day 16. I would have thought that those vehicles might have actually had some clues in their inner mechanisms. The GPS locator sometimes can tell you where cars have been, where cars have driven. But 16 days later, they could not have processed that on the scene, and now here they are towing them away. And also, they're towing them away in an unusual way. You can see that the front wheels are on another set of wheels. I don't know if you know whether that's to stop the jostling of the evidence that might still be in the vehicle. Did they say anything about that?
They had a couple of different tow trucks out there. I don't think they towed them all that way, so I don't know that's the reason. But we asked police why today, and basically they just said it was now time to move them to a secure facility where they would do further crime scene processing of the cars. I got to tell you, overall, the feeling I got today after these interviews with the police and the prosecutor is if there's no person of interest and, I mean, they're making some progress, but it seems like now they're going back and really examining some of these other items, including the cars.
Well, I mean, then let's hope that they're going to have an opportunity to get into some kind of evidence that might exist within those vehicles, even if it's the electronic evidence that will show where the vehicles might have been, if that yields any clues. So slowly, it appears that they may be moving towards eventually releasing that crime scene. And I've always wondered whether they were going to hold that crime scene indefinitely until they caught someone and prosecuted someone, just like Stoneman Douglas. The high school was held like a vault, like a museum for years and years, so that the jury could actually go there and see it exactly as it was when the shootings happened. Is that going to happen with this house?
I don't think so. And I asked the prosecutor that question. It doesn't sound like they plan to hold it like this indefinitely until there's possibly a trial. If they catch the killer, hopefully they will. But he did tell me they're in no rush to clear it. He said what he told the police and the detectives is he feels that they should keep this a crime scene as long as they feel they need to until they have looked at every single possible little thing. And again, finding out today that there is no person of interest and there is no suspect behind the scenes that they know about, it seems that they're going to keep it this way for a while because there's a lot more investigating to do.
Yeah, there was some talk that they might be actually releasing that house soon, and I just wonder if that's actually going to happen. Don't forget, there's 2 survivors. Presumably, they were taken from that house instantly without all of their possessions, and then, of course, those families of the victims would probably want to get some of the possessions of their children back at some point. So it's a morbid thought, but it's also important for some of those families. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.